Good afternoon and thanks for joining us on Nationwide this Thursday. We are live on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. I'm Hawa Salihu Adamu. Our starting point is on youth empowerment as 110 EXCO members who distinguished themselves in the course of the 2018-2019 National Service are to be given automatic employment into the Federal Civil Service. President Muhammadu Buhari, who gave the directive, further stated that any one of them pursuing postgraduate studies will also be given federal scholarship up to directorate level up to doctorate level, in any Nigerian university. Speaking at this year's presidential NYSC Honors Award, the president reaffirmed his administration's faith in the youth of Nigeria. The Musambo is putting together the report. I understand the report is now ready.
The 2018 and 2019 National Service years were judged to have excelled in the cardinal programs of the NYSC scheme, especially in the areas of primary assignment and community development service.
I wish to express our gratitude to Mr. President for being a champion for the Nigerian youth and for being a committed supporter of the NYSC scheme.
I assure you that the NYSC management, our core members, will continue to justify government's huge investment through greater commitment to the service of our fatherland.
President Muhammadu Buhari, who congratulated the awardees for not only standing out amongst their peers, but also proving themselves worthy ambassadors of their families and indeed the NYSC.
I am very proud of you and confident that the award shall spur you to greater service to the nation and humanity. It is my plea to you to be wary of those who would like to exploit your youth, intelligence, and positive energy by channeling you into wrong paths.
Saluting the founding fathers of the scheme, notably General Yakubu Gowon, President Buhari is delighted that the NYSC, in its 48 years of existence, remain a crucible of national unity and integration. Through the scheme, he said, walls of ethnic stereotypes are pulled downhill and bridges of unity built in the nation's quest for one common vision and destiny despite the people's plurality.
It is my fervent hope that all hands will remain on deck as we continue to work together with a single mind for the benefit of the nation. May God continue to bless our youth, illuminating their minds and paths as they take steady and progressive steps towards the attainment of their set goals in life.
The president described as gratifying that core members remained at the forefront in the battle against COVID-19 through the production of face masks, hand sanitizers, liquid soap, and several fabricated machines, thereby contributing towards curtailing the spread of the global pandemic.
The enormous contributions members of the Service Corps are making to the improvement of our education, health, and social sectors, as well as rural development, remain a shining testament to the scheme. This has portrayed successive generations of core members as veritable agents of development.
Apart from the incentives of automatic employment and postgraduate scholarship, The Presidential Honors Award recipients also carted home cash rewards. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
The first civilian governor of Lagos State, Alhaji Lateef Jakande, is dead. A versatile journalist, popularly known as John West and Baba Kekere in politics, passed on this morning at the age of 91. Alhaji Lateef Jakande was one of those who fought for Nigeria's independence and was a selfless lawyer and dedicated public servant. Following the announcement of his passing by the state governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, his residence at Ilukpeju in Lagos State has been welcoming mourners. Let's now join Adeni Taiwo at his Ilukpeju residence to fill us in on what's happening. Adeni, good afternoon to you. Could you give us a sense of what the situation is at this moment?
Good afternoon, Awa. This is the Ilukpeju country home of Alhaji Lateef Jakande, the first civilian governor of Lagos State. Earlier on, it rained a little, and despite that, mourners have been trooping in to commiserate with the family and mourn the passing of a great man who laid the foundation of what could be described as, Lagos State, modern-day Lagos State, when he ruled from 1979 to 1983 as the first civilian governor. Like I said, mourners have been trooping in, more dignitaries are expected, and what they are all saying is that Alhaji Lateef Jakande did his best to give Lagos State the best at the time he was the leader. They recalled his exploits in the educational sector, where he made a public school viable and attractive to Nigerians. I have with me, standing by, one of his sons, Honorable Deji Jakande, who is going to tell us what he feels, about what is happening and how he remembers is that. Honorable Deji, please join me. Your dad just passed on today. What can you tell us about the man he was and how you remember him?
I remember him as a great man. He's a great loss to the family. And by the grace of God, I pray and believe that he is sleeping well. He has taught us to be contented, and we hope that by the grace of God, he will still continue to pray for us wherever he is.
Okay. He had a dream for Lagos State as a governor. Would you say it was fulfilled, with the Lagos State he left behind?
Well, to an extent, I would say yes, because I think the state itself speaks for him. Because I know that those that live in his estates, they'll keep on praying for him. Personally, I'm part of those that will pray for him because I went to his school, to a public school. So I would say I'm part of his legacy, and I wish him peace.
Okay. Before I let you go, can you give us a sense of his last moment? When did he die? His last moment, what are the things he did?
Nothing, he died in his sleep.
It's not like this. Go on, sir.
He died in his sleep. He was okay. We were together yesterday, ate pap and shrimps. And he slept. Just for me to be called early this morning, around 9:30, 10, that he's not breathing. And then of course, we had to call my sister is a doctor, and then we have to call some other doctors who confirmed him dead. Okay. So I believe he died a peaceful death, and we'll continue to pray for him even in his death. Okay. And we thank God for his life.
Thank you very much, Honorable DG. We pray that the Abbas remains will be accepted by Allah. Like you said, Alhaji Jakande died around 11 a.m. this morning, and arrangements are on to move his body away from this place, and while his body will be prepared for burial tomorrow. We also have Mama, please come. One of his family members who also wants to share with us the kind of man that Alhaji Lateef Jakande was. Mama, tell us the name.
My name is Elizabeth Oshisoya, Elegant Twins, OON. Mo jẹ́ ṣé mo lè sọ Yorùbá? Odamaso English. I am one of the family of Jakande. Okay. And I'm one of their best family. We do things together. Their children, they just left now, and their children. Elijah too, same thing. We are together. I'm their sister. The only thing I like in Elijah is that he's so kind.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am. We understand.
Elijah is very kind. Okay. Elijah is the one who started the school in Lagos.
Yeah.
In Lagos, at which we don't pay.
Okay.
He's the one.
You heard from Mama that, like I told you earlier, one of the exploits that can be credited to late Alhaji Kayode Jakande. Now, that's all from here. I will be handing you over to Awal in Lagos Network Center. Over to you, Awal.
Thank you, Adeni. Every 11th of February is marked International Day of Women and Girls in Science. The day is to encourage more females to develop interest in science-related fields. In this report, Hingino John Adams examines women and girls' participation in science.
Science and gender equality are key drivers to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals 2030. But the field is generally dominated by men, which is a setback to actualizing the 2030 dream. 2014 to 2016 data released by UNESCO shows that only 30% of researchers globally are women, and about 35% of all female students select science, technology, engineering, and mathematics-related fields in higher education. The number is poor, but few, like Captain Stella Oponya, are thriving in the male-dominated world. She has been a helmsman for about 28 years now, but it wasn't a smooth sail for her.
You must keep your family, you must keep your job, your career. If I can make it, any other young girl can make it. Just be self-disciplined. You know what you want. You know you are coming into the men's world. Yeah, so you are bound to face some challenges.
The International Day of Women and Girls in Science is to inspire and engage females in science, and this year's theme is Women Scientists at the forefront of fight against COVID-19. Dr. Ererago Otrofanowe is a frontline worker in the battle.
You go into them and you can't hold their hands sometimes, so you try, you can't really, there's almost a bit of impersonal thing because you're all masked. You have the big goggles, and they can't see you. If you're smiling, they can't see your smile. If you're encouraging them, they can't see that. So you have to say more to try to let them understand the empathy that you're giving.
How then can women and girls be encouraged to pick up science-related fields?
And you create opportunities for them to meet and relate with people that are in this field, whether male or female. When they get to relate with them and those people tell them about their experiences, they get to understand that yes, I can do this thing.
With women like Captain Oponya and Dr. Trofanowe taking the lead, it is expected that more girls will aspire to be like them. In Lagos, Hingino John Adams, NTA News.
The Comptroller General of Customs Strike Force Team, Zone A, is following up its aggressive anti-smuggling drive with raiding of warehouses and markets for goods that illegally evaded regular checks and payment of stipulated customs duties. Michael Olale reports that this became imperative as most of the goods intercepted in first month of the year were imported based on false declaration.
Mandate before the Customs Strike Force Team is to complement other units in enforcing trade compliance and arrest of unlawful acts in the process of trade facilitation. These 1,810 cartons of wine with duty-paid value of 83 million naira were falsely declared as washing machines. But if not for the timely intervention of the team, such huge amount of money will have been lost to smugglers. This seems to be the latest tactics of smugglers as reviewed by other seizures like these 18 pallets of perfumes cosmetics and bags, falsely declared as silly machines. The question is why the smugglers prefer to conceal items in the name of machines.
Machineries pay about 5%. Wine pays high duty and is levied. So, but non-alcoholic wine is contraband.
Other items seized include 1,227 rolls of textile materials, 552 cartons of foreign footwears, 2,064 cartons of bulbs, and 1,920 bags of 50 kg foreign rice seized in the last 2 weeks, which the coordinator said is a threat to government's policy on domestic production.
As long as they do this, we will be on the trail. We fish them out, we seize them, we cause them financial loss. This is what we are paid to do.
The strike force team said the successes recorded in the various operations within the month of January 2021 were achieved without any form of confrontations or injuries to officers. In Lagos, Michael Lale, NTA News.
Lagos State government says everything will be done to integrate community policing into the formal security architecture of the state with a view to protecting lives and property. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu stated this at a sensitization workshop on community policing organized by the Nigerian Police Force in Lagos. Musa Toliat reports.
The sensitization program became necessary in the face of recent spate of crime and criminality in several parts of the state. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, represented at the event, stressed that it will go a long way to encourage the public to work with recently deployed 1,250 special constabulary officers to boost intelligence gathering in communities across the state.
It was the motivating reason why we set up the Lagos State Neighborhood Security Corps that allowed members of the public to monitor and report suspicious movements or activities in the neighborhood to the nearest security agency for necessary and effective action.
Community policing is a strategy of combating crime, as it is the only almighty formula in solving crime, criminality, and a veritable measure in crisis management.
Members of the State Community Policing Advisory Committee took turns to make contributions. In Lagos, Musa Tolia, NTA News.
Watching NTA Nationwide, time for a commercial break. The news will be back shortly. Don't go away.
Hello, I bring you wonderful news. The village headmaster is coming back to your screen. Mo wire abi mi o wire. Teacher no mo, a fẹ́ lọ wá nǹkan jẹ. Teacher jọ̀wọ́, a fẹ́ lọ wá nǹkan jẹ. Ọmọ onírẹsì ti dé.
Ajebo na better school for last gidi. Not be all this on a rugged yes school for Ijabi. I don't know for you.
Second, it's called Oja Village. Kaduna. We no happy at all.
And I know that even you too, you are getting a lot of orders. Hey, we are trying, Shao. Sweep her leg out. She was standing there. Sweep it.
I love you so much.
And how did I give you the impression that I was interested in that position?
50-year anniversary.
You mean anniversary?
I mean, that's why I talk with that now.
Not for me. Not for me because of Pamio.
The broadcast media ecosystem is dynamic and requires continuous training for practitioners to perform optimally. NTA TV College JOS invites relevant officers to the following specially packaged training programs. Intermediate online news reporting skills. Date 1st March to 12th March 2021. 2 weeks. Studio lighting indoor and outdoor. Date 1st March to 5th March 2021. 1 week. Modern trends in broadcast media marketing. Date 15th March to 9th April 2021. 4 weeks. understanding public service rules and mastering the art of standard minute writing, reports, memoranda, and briefs. Date 15 February to 12 March 2021. 4 weeks. The course fee for the 4-week courses is 100,000 naira per participant. The fee for the 2-week course is 80,000 naira, while the course fee for the 1-week course is 40,000 naira only. Accommodation inclusive. Venue for all the courses is the serene and secure environment of NTA TV College near Old Government House, Rayfield, Jos. For more inquiries, please call 0803-314-4383 or 0806-980-9807. NTA TV College, Jos. Training you to be the best you want to be.
Burnley is taking maximum points in their last 2 matches against Crystal Palace. Will they make it a hat-trick of victories when both teams square off at Selhurst Park this Saturday? Find out in Crystal Palace versus Burnley on the Premier League Live, showing on the NTA network from 3:30 p.m. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Axis Bank, Papai Jebu, Lipton, and Close Up, in association with Gold.com.
Thanks for rejoining us. It's nationwide. The National Orientation Agencies urge Nigerian youth to take advantage of the upcoming National Youth Summit to further engage stake actors on the concerns raised during the NSAS protests across the country. Kenneth Nanim reports.
In October 2020, youths across the country took to the streets on a peaceful protest against police brutality, which later degenerated into crisis. Since then, issues raised by the youths have dominated national discourse. Ahead of the National Youth Summit, the National Orientation Agencies urging the young people to leverage on opportunities of the summit to advance discussions with relevant stakeholders to ensure that the country does not lose focus on the crux of the matter.
The National Orientation Agency National Youth Summit is therefore intended to provide a veritable platform of engagement with the youth on key national issues that are of utmost concern to them and come up with recommendations on ways to effectively and efficiently address them.
Sustainable engagements with youths on government policies and programs on social interventions, as well as issues on COVID-19 safety protocols, are expected to dominate center stage during the summit. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the federal government says it will not allow the kind of violence that was perpetrated across the country under the guise of the NSAS protest last October. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed said these during a media briefing in Abuja. Over now to Anthony Forsen.
The Information and Culture Minister, Lai Mohammed, said the NSAS campaign last October started as a peaceful protest against police brutality, and as a government that believes in the constitutionally guaranteed right of citizens to engage in peaceful protests, the federal government did nothing to hinder the protests for as long as they remained peaceful. Aside from that, the federal government equally moved swiftly to concede to the demands of the campaigners.
Unfortunately, despite the acceptance of the demands, the protesters misread the federal government's respect for the rule of law and definitely continued to demonstrate and occupy a public facility even after a curfew was declared by the Lagos State government.
To this end, Lai Mohammed said some NSAS proponents have again issued a notice of their planned return to Lekki Toll Gate in Lagos this Saturday to occupy the toll gate, as flyers have been circulating online.
While peaceful protests are the constitutional rights of Nigerians, violent protests are not. At this time, the chances that any peaceful protest will be hijacked are very high.
It is in the light of this that the Information and Culture Minister restated the federal government's determination not to allow a repeat of the wanton destructions in Lagos and other parts of the country, which still remains fresh in the minds of all Nigerians. And to those who are hiding under the cover of human rights and justice for another round of destruction should have a rethink.
Like we have said many times, anyone who has any information on the alleged shooting or purported massacre at the Lekki Toll Gate, including the names and addresses of those who were purportedly killed, should head for the panel to give it such information. This is how to enhance the search for justice, not by rabble-rousing or engaging in media shows.
Against this backdrop, the federal government, however, warns that any attempt by the NSAS planners to reoccupy Lekki Toll Gate will be resisted, and also warned their collaborators abroad, whom he said are fanning the embers of violence and inciting Nigerians back home, to stay clear, as no government anywhere around the world will allow a repeat of the killings and maiming caused by the hijackers of the last October NSAS protests. In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
To other matters now, the Senate has resolved to invite the Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, over the Apex Bank's ban on cryptocurrency transaction by Nigerian financial institutions. The Senate, through a motion by Senator Istifanos Gyang, mandated its Joint Committee on Banking, Insurance and Other Financial Institutions, ICT and Cybercrimes, as well as Capital Market, to meet with the CBN Governor to brief it on the opportunities and dangers cryptocurrency poses to the Nigerian economy and security. The Central Bank of Nigeria had anchored its decision on the need to safeguard the Nigerian economy from what it described as the adverse effects of the cryptocurrency regime on the economy. And Mohammed, on standby in Maiduguri, is next on our lineup. It's over to you.
Thank you, Hawa, and welcome to Maiduguri. Minister of Works and Housing Babatunde Rajifashola says the federal government is putting more efforts to address infrastructural deficit for effective and efficient service delivery across institutions of government. The minister stated this in a message read by his representative during a grand unveiling and handing over of rehabilitated and asphalt overlaid 2-kilometer internal road at University of Maiduguri Teaching Hospital. Yago Subukar reports.
The federal government, under the auspices of the Tertiary Institutions Road Intervention Program, has continued to embark on infrastructural projects that are geared towards relieving the plight of infrastructural deficits across institutions of government in the country. According to the Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Rajifashola, represented by Engineer Amos Tongman, the government seeks to invest massively in institutions, particularly the University of Maiduguri Teaching Hospital, with a view to bringing an end to infrastructural deficits.
The gap of our national infrastructure is steadily being breached.
Chief Medical Director UMTH Professor Ahmed Ahijo acknowledged the series of interventions which has successfully relieved the over 38 years dilapidated internal road of the hospital, among others, requesting for more assistance to complete the road networks within the hospital for robust and seamless service delivery. The CMD had, while going round to inspect the project with the theme, assured to liaise and work with the ministry to enhance the health needs of the citizenry, naming the roads after Babatunde Rajifashola, among other personalities, for their relentless efforts towards the betterment of the hospital. In Maiduguri, Yagum Subukar, NTA News.
Islamic scholars have examined issues and challenges involved in the Sangha education Towards improving the system, scholars and stakeholders within and outside Borno converged on Maiduguri for a 3-day public hearing on the reform of Sangaya system of education in the state. Paul Nkujevana has details.
Sangaya or Almajiri system of education is an old tradition of education where children are brought from within and outside a state to acquire Islamic education, but however has been bastardized due to begging phenomenon and the people started, thereby receiving great attention in education policy in the country. It is against this backdrop that Governor Babagana Umar Zulum constituted a high-powered committee on the reform of Sangaya system of education in Borno State to review the trend and intervention efforts. The governor, while urging the committee to hear and critically analyze the public view, said the state government is set to build 27 high Islamic colleges in the state, among other schools, to tackle the high rate of out-of-school children.
We can promote Islamic education, promote Arabic education, so that we can make Arabic education very important in our secondary education system.
Guest speaker Professor Ibrahim Mohammed and representative of the Executive Secretary, Universal Basic Education, Danjuma Adamu Dabu, said it is not an offense to combine both Islamic and Western education. Other speakers, to include the representative of the Sheikh of Borno, Abba Bukar, chairman of the Reform Committee, Khalifa Abdul Fatah, among others, maintained that Borno topmost in Islamic education and forefront of reforming Sangaya education, and if succeeded, it will be replicated in other parts of the country. The gathering called on public and private participation towards a successful reformation of Quranic education. In Maiduguri, Paul Nkujevana, NTA News.
Those are the stories from Maiduguri. Nationwide continues in Abuja.
Thanks for rejoining us from Maiduguri. For girls who seek career development in sciences in Nigeria, gender is no longer a barrier, as girls and women are taking giant strides in the field of science and technology across the world and making a difference through their works. Salwa Khalil Ibrahim tells the story of some schoolgirls who are thriving in the field of STEM.
The issue of gender balance in school enrollment has been a subject of concern for promoters of gender equality. Nevertheless, the girls, in spite of their numbers in schools, cross boundaries in career aspiration. They are dreaming big and working even harder to meet their goals. This is the story of many girls in the field of sciences.
I want to become a neurosurgeon like Ben Carson, and he's basically my model, and I'm working to become a renowned neurosurgeon.
Being a science student makes me happy because I can see a brighter future for the female child.
Living in a world driven by science, girls and women are proving their mettle and performing even better in the field of science, hoping for more support and encouragement.
They are very interactive. The girls, they are ready. The girls are ready. They are more disciplined. They are more focused. They are there. They are beating even the boys in classes. So, government must therefore, my advice to government, to institutions, is that we must begin now.
Educate the girl child, you educate the nation. So if the ladies or the girls are more in sciences and even technology, it will do well for us.
Today, the world identifies with women and girls in science who are playing critical roles in finding solution to the COVID-19 pandemic. And like them, many of these girls are eager to conquer the world. In Abuja, Salwa Khalil Ibrahim, NTA News.
And to commemorate the International Day of Women and Girls in Sciences, the Ministry of Women Affairs, in collaboration with the United Nations, is currently interfacing with young secondary school students in sciences to empower and motivate them in a bid to close the gap that has left women behind. Momso, Damien Dati is on standby with that.
Live from the Government Girls Science Secondary School, Kuje, where the Honorable Minister of Women Affairs will be commemorating the International Day of Women and Girls in Sciences. And here with me is the principal of the school, Mrs. Sabina Egwedu. Please, can you tell us, how have you been coping with all girls in sciences?
It's been wonderful. It's a wonderful experience. It's an easy work for me and girls are really they are really facing the challenges of sciences. You find out that even this present admission that we had, a lot of them came. A lot of girls came to study sciences. Unlike before, that you have just very few girls studying sciences. Now I think the girls have taken the bull by its horn, and they are ready, and they are really doing wonderfully well.
Women are doing well, because you know there is an adage that says what a man can do, women can do it even better. So here in the science school, the students have more confidence with the female teachers. We encourage them. We have so many of them aspiring to be doctors, engineers. Even in the class, when we be carrying out some practicals, you couldn't imagine, wondering, are they girls or they are mixed? But they are all girls.
The theme for this year is looking at women at the forefront of the fight against COVID-19, acknowledging and appraising the critical role played by women as medical doctors, as nurses, as lab scientists, and the fight against the pandemic, and looking at how to further curtail the spread in the future. Momso Damien Ati, NTA News.
Very well, Momso. Thank you very much. And joining us now live via telephone from Ibadan is Fumilola Ojelade, President, Association of Professional Women Engineers of Nigeria, APWEN. Thanks for joining us on Nationwide today, Madam. Okay. Today recognizes women and girls in sciences. Would you say the female folk have held their own in this all-important field in Nigeria? Okay, I said today recognizes women and girls in sciences. Would you say we have had our own in this all-important field of sciences, particularly in Nigeria? Oh, we seem to be having some... Okay. Okay. I'm so sorry we cannot continue with this interview because we seem to have some issues with the audio coming to us here. We truly appreciate your being on Nationwide today. Let's now take you to our Port Harcourt Network Center for more on Nationwide.
You're welcome.
And welcome to Port Harcourt. The federal government has called for efficient and effective training in rail transportation to grow the economy. Minister of Transportation Chibike Rotimi Amechi disclosed this at the University of Port Harcourt Founders Day in Port Harcourt. The report. For our economy to thrive, transportation sector must be viable to enhance growth. Guest lecturer and Minister of Transportation, Chibike Rotimi Amechi, described the transportation sector as a means of economic growth that would contribute greatly to an increase in the nation.
Is that we have leveraged on our own resources to showcase to the world the depth of the intellectual resources that we have produced as an institution.
The University of Port Harcourt, founded in 1975, has produced captains of industry and the academia. The event brought together former vice-chancellors and the university community. Strengthening the cordial relationship between the United States and other countries of the world for better economic growth of nations is now the concern of the U.S. new administration. Chief of Economic and Political Affairs, United States Consulate General Office, Brando Hospert, stated this when he visited the Akwa Ibom State Governor, Udom Emmanuel, in Government House, Uyo. Charity James has details.
With the new leadership of the American government, the need for the establishment of strong relationship between Nigeria and the United States of America has become imperative. Hence, the tour of the delegations from Economic and Political Affairs Department of U.S. Consulate General Office to Niger Delta region of the country, with Akwa Ibom State as their first port of call.
There's so much that furthers the partnership and relationship between our two countries, between the United States and Nigeria. And I think in particular, you see so much here in this state, in Akwa Ibom, that is worth celebrating.
The state governor, represented by the deputy governor, Moses Ekpo, who noted the importance of U.S. to Nigeria and Akwa Ibom State, especially in the area of economic investment, also called for U.S. investment in Ibom Deep Sea Port projects in Akwa Ibom State.
And we do hope that that relationship will be sustained even more during your tenure.
U.S. Consulate General Office is saddled with the responsibility of facilitating trade and friendship between Nigeria and America. In Uyo, Charity James, NTA News.
River State government has released the sum of 16.6 billion naira for the upgrade of facilities at the River State University. This was at a joint media briefing by the Commissioner of Information, Paulinus Nsirim, and his health and education counterpart in Port Harcourt. Ogedinyekwe completes the report.
Commissioner for Information, Paulinus Nsirim, said out of the 16.6 billion naira released upgrade of the institution, the sum of 9.6 billion naira will serve as take-off grant for the establishment of the 3 new campuses of the university in Ahoda, Emohua, and Eche local government areas. Nsirim also said that 7.6 billion naira has been released to enable the College of Medical Sciences of the university to establish Faculty of Basic Medical Sciences, Faculty of Clinical Sciences, and Pathology building.
Each of the new campuses has a sum of 3 billion naira to cater for faculty building, hostels, offices, libraries, auditorium, lecture halls, and other relevant requirements that will make the campuses function effectively.
Commissioner for Health, Professor Prince Wichike, says with the release of funds, the College of Medical Sciences can now operate as a full-fledged college with all its programs running.
So as much as possible with this release, the accreditation of certain departments in the River State University, some of them are due for accreditation, will now have it easy for them.
I am sure that it will open up access to education.
In Port Harcourt, Ogedinyekwe, NTA News.
And as our beat from Port Harcourt is back to Hawa for the rest of the news. Good evening.
Very well, Dibabari. And moving on here in Abuja, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Ibrahim Tanko Muhammad, has rated highly the performance of women judges in Nigeria in the discharge of their judicial functions. The CJN made the assessment when he declared open the biannual conference of the Association of Women Judges in Nigeria. He said, with their credible performance, women judges will soon take over the judiciary of Lagos State. The CJN charged them to continue to improve on their performance. The outgoing president of the association and Justice of the Supreme Court, Mary Peter Odili, chronicled the challenges faced by women judges in the last 1 year, especially from the effect of COVID-19, which she said aborted some of their international conferences that would have improved their skills. She also lamented that the role of women in Nigeria is still largely being confused and misunderstood. The United Nations women and stakeholders in the fight against gender-based violence converged on Abuja to harmonize and come up with a workable training manual that will assist the Nigerian police tackle the menace Francis Fom has details of the interaction.
Between 2020 and now, the Nigeria Police Force has arrested a total of 2,792 suspects of gender-based violence and other sexual-related offences.
We've been able to bring justice to those that are seeking for justice when it comes to SGBV.
Worried by this, the United Nations Women is engaging critical stakeholders with a view to enhancing police response in the handling of gender and sexual-based violence.
This initiative is trying to address the capacity gap that exists within the police force.
We want a situation whereby there will be more protective response from the police.
And we are willing as civil society organizations and also development partners willing to engage. And so this is a more coordinated effort.
Why the manual is important is going to be a guiding policy that will help in handling the matters.
Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority, represented by the Acting Director News, Halima Musa, says NTA is leading the campaign and exposing perpetrators of the crimes through news reportage.
NTA tries to pursue these cases in court to their logical conclusion so that the victims will get justice and closure, as it were, and then of course try as much as possible to reduce to the barest minimum the commission of such crimes.
Stakeholders expect that the outcome of the engagement will better position the Nigeria Police Force in methodology. Francis from NTA News.
Still staying with security matters, following the recent appointment of new service chiefs, the Defense Headquarters is strategizing and upscaling the armed forces operations ongoing across the country. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa has more.
Details of the briefing indicates that strategic, operational, logistics and administrative adjustments and changes are being put in place to rapidly address security threats in parts of the country.
There is no doubt the changes will usher in new modus operandi.
The combined efforts of the military and other security agencies, the coordinator notes, have resulted in the elimination of terrorists, bandits, and the arrest of pipeline vandals, as well as other economic saboteurs, particularly in the Niger Delta region.
Troops of Operation Lafia Adule on various occasions made contact and engaged on Boko Haram. In the various encounters, more terrorist enclaves have been destroyed along with their logistics facilities, and scores of their fighters neutralized through ground and air strikes at different locations in the northeast zone.
The Defense Headquarters enjoined Nigerians to support the security agencies by providing timely intelligence report to ensure proactive response. From the Defense Headquarters in Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA.
And it's now over to Salamatu in our Kaduna Network Center. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Hawa, and welcome to Kaduna. Kaduna State Government is exploring ways of encouraging indigenous producers to export their commodities with a view to opening up African continent to free trade activities. This resonated at an interface between Governor Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai and members of National Action Committee on African Continental Free Trade in Kaduna. Muhammad Marajingi reports.
Nigeria, on the 7th of July 2019 in Niamey, Niger Republic, signed the free trade agreement to create a single market in the continent that will deepen economic integration between sister African countries. Members of the National Action Committee of the Continental Free Trade are here to meet minds with the Kaduna State Economic Team, led by Governor Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai, to fashion out a realistic approach for easy export of goods and services to sister African countries.
So it is an opportunity that we have to take advantage of.
Kaduna State Governor says it was time to drop all barriers to African free trade.
Unless we do something about reviving our manufacturing by ensuring that interest rates are deliberately reduced in a situation where we are competing with the rest of 50 countries in Africa, we have to ensure that our internal environment encourages entrepreneurship.
The engagement continues with other stakeholders in various states across the country. In Kaduna, I am Muhammad Umar Ajingi, NTA News.
Judicial panel of inquiry on alleged police brutality sitting in Kaduna says all police officers who have case to answer must always appear before it. Haruna Muhammad reports on this and other happenings at the sitting.
The panel has also issued hearing notices to those respondents who have not appeared or who have not been represented in the panel. So we are banking on the cooperation of the police to release their officers to attend to the hearing of the petitions, because we have a time frame and we want to ensure that justice is served at the quickest possible time.
The Judicial Panel of Inquiry sitting in Kaduna has been on for about 3 months now, and the petition between Ishaq Abdullahi versus the disbanded Special Anti-Robbery Squad on alleged extrajudicial killing is one that has been suffering setback due to what the panel considers as consistent absence of the petitioner. Counsel to the police prayed the panel to dismiss the petition in its entirety, while counsel to the petitioner made a plea for adjournment of the petition. So far, the judicial panel has received a total of 55 petitions, with 46 at both hearing and defense levels. In the meantime, other petitions filed before the panel have been opened for mention and subsequently adjourned for hearing at later dates. In Kaduna, Haruna Mohammed, NTA News.
That's it on our package from Kaduna. Another break beckons. Please stay tuned.
Nigerian youths are about the greatest assets the country has at the moment. It is therefore not surprising that the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is strategically responding to the yearnings of the youth through multiple projects and programs. Youth entrepreneurship support, yes, by Bank of Industry, the Youth Investment Fund by the CBN, and several other conditional cash transfer programs. Recruitment of 774,000 social workers, majority of whom are youths, and so many other projects that are beneficial to youths directly or indirectly. If the administration can do all this, definitely with a degree of patience and time, it can achieve more. Nigerian youths must come together to say no to terrorism, no to vandalism, and no to all disruptive tendencies. Hashtag Youth for Greater Nigeria. Pacifying the youths, unifying the nation.
A new edition of TV Guide is out with special focus on the game changer, His Excellency Governor Abdullahi Sule of Nasarawa State. Broadcasting in the digital economy, Maxwell Lobo gives an insight. This edition also features Nancy Naji of AIT, a name synonymous with business. Meet the NCDC boss, Dr. Chikwe Ihekweazu. TV Guide, your indispensable companion, also x-rays the relevance of social media in the modern society. Meet some TV professionals who have impacted their spaces and other inspiring stories in sports, entertainment, and lots more. Grab a copy at the vendor near you or NTA stations nationwide. TV Guide, your indispensable companion.
And sports is next with Tamara Ebiwe.
Nigeria Super Falcons will aim to become the first African side to triumph at the Turkish Women's Cup as the 5th edition of the annual competition takes place February 15 to 24. The Falcons are pitted against Equatorial Guinea and Uzbekistan in Group B, with Zambia pulling out for undisclosed reasons, while Ukraine, Serbia, India and Bulgaria battle in Group A. Also known as the Alanya Gold City Cup, the 10-day tournament ranks as one of the most notable events on the women's football calendar in the world. The competition is the first call of new head coach Randy Waldrum with the Super Falcons, as he bids to mold the team into credible competitors for honors at global level. Meanwhile, Bayelsa State government has been commended for providing an enabling environment for sports to flourish in the state through government-private partnership. Director General Governor's Cup Ono Akpe, who gave the commendation in a release in Abuja, disclosed that the Governor's Cup, which will be known as the Prosperity Cup 2021, will soon commence, calling on all communities, teams and players to get ready for this year's edition. In tennis, Australian Open defending champion Sophia Kenin was sent packing after losing 6-3, 6-2 in the second round to unseeded Kaya Kanapi in just 64 minutes. Heather Watson, a former British number 1, was also knocked out by 21 seed Annette Contaviet, ending the British challenge in the women's singles. World number 1 Ashley Barty, Ekaterina Alexandrova, Simona Halep are in the third round, while 5th seed Stefano Tsitsipas and 7th seed Andrei Rublev have all progressed to the next round. With sports updates, Tamara Ibiwe, NTA News.
And that's Nationwide for today. We thank you for being part of it. Join us as we fight against rape and rapists. Also remember to be responsible as COVID-19 is still very much around. Good evening.
Welcome to the Young Scholars TV show.